What do I want publishers to know?
Yeah, what can we do better?
I mean, big ones.
I mean, so many things. I understand that this is like harder, like a steeper proposition for like a whole systematized process, and like slamming on the brakes and doing things a different way is hard. But I think just like, yeah, try to collaborate with the authors more, try and build those relationships, and really like look to your workers, because they're the ones doing the jobs. They're the ones seeing problems that folks who've been doing things a certain way for a long time. To them, it just looks like, well, why isn't it working? Like, what are you doing wrong? But people who are like repeating those tasks over and over are going to see things. I know this is maybe like sort of obvious to us and our audience, but also maybe not.
Hi, I'm Joe Beal, the founder and CEO of Microcosm Publishing. I'm also the author of A People's Guide to Publishing, which distills what I've learned from selling millions of books over the past 28 years.
I'm Elly Blue, the Vice President of Microcosm. We started this podcast to share what we've learned with newer publishers, so you can learn from our mistakes. Or maybe you just want to learn about the publishing industry.
Not everything has to be a struggle. Not everything has to be doom and gloom. I think all of us could stand to find ways to make the work we do more fun and engaging for us, for authors, for publishing workers. And that's where a lot of the goods are going to be found. Like, we can't always be seeking it out in this increasingly hostile landscape, but we can be doing more of like creating, the environment we want our books to be put out into.
Right. I love that. That's a great note to end on. But to further emphasize your point, I like Elly was really challenging me on whether your idea would only work for us or whether it would work for everybody. And it would work for everybody for a number of key reasons, because when a publisher is like larger than a certain size, they operate on a total 90-10 principle, where like 10% of the projects pay for the 90% that are losses.
Right.
And let's just be honest. We all know, I mean, sometimes you're like in too deep, or it's, like you're too emotionally invested or otherwise invested. And so, when you buy like the Hillary Clinton memoir or whatever, like you're not going to make money on it because it's just too expensive. But you do know the books that are going to earn out. So then it just sort of begs the question, like, why you're doing those other 90% of books.
Right. Yeah.
Well, so everyone can have 6-hour meetings with their reps.
Right.
So the book buyers can sit there and have their mind go numb.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so, and if a publisher was very small, it would like be different. But like for any sort of commercial publisher, I think it holds up.
Yeah, and I will add, we can edit this if necessary, but I think another thing that we do that other places I have worked do not do, or want to try to do but don't know how to do, is it's not just all about Pub Week. Like,
yes,
people talk about cultivating backlist sales and whatever, and most of them aren't doing it. Like, mostly that happens by a happy accident. But if we start from a place of like engineering community and opportunity from the jump, then that's way more likely. You can create these situations where something sells well 3, 5, 10 years down the road, because people are going to keep finding it through those channels instead of just like, well, we blast it out to all these places, we offer every book the same thing. It's, people are afraid to start small, I feel like, in a way that is counterproductive.
I love that. Yeah, when we were with PGW, that was kind of their like words of affirmation to us, is they were like, I know you're going to make it because like you put the same amount of effort into every book. And I was like, that feels like a diss. And they're like, no, it's because like people fail because they like put all of their chips behind one book and then it doesn't go. And I think they liked our mid-listness. Our industry is run by billionaires and conglomerates.
At Microcosm, we wanted the freedom to independently sell our books easily pay royalties, manage our inventory, and understand our business all in one place.
That's why we've been using our own software since 2001.
Now, we want to share it with you.
Working Lit is the only business success software that is created and owned 100% by publishers for publishers.
Join Working Lit and get the agency you need to help your business grow.
Visit workinglit.com to try it for free.
This is maybe more of a meeting question than a podcast question, but I'm going to go for it.
But here we are. We're not in a meeting.
Daley, do you think we've gone too far the other direction? Because we pretty much ignore pub date.
What's a pub date?
Pub date is occasionally strategically useful if we're kind of gaming some timing somewhere, but we're not posting about the pub date. We're not leading up to the pub date. We're not. And one of our distribution clients was challenging us about this because they were like, please, we were we release the books when we get them. And they were like, how can we plan our release then? And we were like, well, I don't know. That's not what we do. What do you think? Should we give more credence to that? Are we missing an opportunity by not making more of that?
Well, I don't know. I think this kind of remains to be seen. Part of the joke, while I've been here, is that I'm so traditional publishing pilled that I'm always oh, the pub date,
You're stream. I know.
And then,
I think in some ways, it can be really useful. I think this is part of where some of that author relationship stuff comes in, because it's not just about making them feel good, it's a birthday party for their book, which it is. And I do think that's important, and making the experience of publishing rewarding and enjoyable is important if we want people to keep making books with us. But I think it does create a structure that is helpful for promotion. And as we're doing this thing, part of our discussion about publishing fewer books has been okay, great. That gives us an opportunity to kind of create a promotional runway for books before they're out in a way that I don't think we've really done before. And yes, in some ways that works because people are used to it, but also when we're talking about the too many books deluge, I see it as just giving people a heads up, giving people an opportunity to be interested in something we're doing, kind of feeding it out, creating some interest over time that hopefully, builds up into greater continued success. So I think we'll see how that functions with all the other things that we're doing and working on. But I think it's mostly an inside baseball thing. And I think that pub dates are still useful for industry side stuff. And then we do other kind of more creative and interesting things for just the normal readership of the world who don't know what any of that is.
But I like it.
Yeah.
To be continued.
To be continued.
We could have a whole episode on pub dates.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be a debate.
Pub dates.
Honestly, don't get me.
Do they still exist?
What is a date? What does it matter?
Right.
What is time?
Yeah.
My two controversial sticking points are I still kind of think pub day is important, and I still am in favor of blurbs. Everybody's least favorite thing.
Oh no, those are fighting words.
We used to chase blurbs a ton, and the core, the fundamental value add of a blurb is it lends credibility, but then the science of it is basically everybody thinks they're full of shit, so then it cuts into their credibility unless it's the incredibly specific perfect blurb to the perfect book that you're oh, it's that person recommending on this grounds that you're okay, that is a value add. But for the most part, it's just the same problem of if people don't trust reviewers,
they really don't trust blurbers.
Yeah.
I would love to like Microcosm science this somehow, which maybe is not possible.
We built this software from scratch to solve our own problems starting in 2001.
It's not only the reason for our survival, but the reason we've been a Publishers Weekly fastest growing publisher 3 years in a row.
Now we want to share it with you.
Join Working Lit and get back the agency to understand your publishing business, market and sell your books, and painlessly pay royalties.
Working Lit, doing the math for publishers.
Visit workinglit.com to give it a try for free.
Because part of my hang up about blurbs, obviously we're getting into a whole different thing. If you guys need to go, I can shut up.
I want to hear your hang up about blurbs.
Yeah.
It's like from working in the bookstores, I see people read it and be like, oh, I like that. Like, I'll like this. So it's doing some of that like recommendation cycle for you. It doesn't even need to be like the New York Times says this is a illuminating debut or whatever. Luminous, that's the thing people are always complaining about. But and also I think like for publishers is just a useful way to get some other like SEO and descriptive copy in the mix that you don't have to write. But that like does work for you both in person and on the computer. So I think there's still value to be had there, but
I think it's kind of like, I think like part of the reason that the blurbs have like stopped is that like there's a great outcry, a communal outcry among authors who are like, we're already, you know, paid almost nothing to work, and now we're also expected to be essentially book reviewers and provide marketing copy also for nothing. And just, you know, there's like only so many authors who are like useful as blurbers, but there's an infinitely growing number of books by authors who would love to have them blurb them. And, you know, like someone like Cheryl Strayed can like be a buddy and try to blurb every single book she sees, and it's a great honor, but at the same time her blurb is now meaningless.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and I'm sympathetic to this outcry. I'm like, great, okay, then like you don't have to do it. If you hate it, you don't have to do it. But if it's like a friend's book, you read it and you think it's good, like you can tell somebody, you know, and it'll be cool. I think this is part of the thing is like, whatever. I mean, I'm sure people will complain about this and think I'm just like devaluing everybody's work or whatever, but it's like a communal project, right? It doesn't always have to be hard. Like you can do things just because you want to do them, and nobody's going to be mad at you if you don't. Like it's not an issue. But
I had the idea a while ago to get booksellers to blurb books, since that seems to be where most of the blurbs are used, are like in bookstores by booksellers. But I don't know.
And I think that is maybe still like the most useful course of blurb action, because those are people who really do read a lot of books, and like that is an art, like writing the shelf talker in a way that makes people want to buy it. So they are uniquely capable, I think, of fulfilling that role. Again, like guys, if I ask you and you say no, it's literally no problem. I don't care. But but if you want to do it, you know, like why not? Why not?
I feel like a big part of the role of being a publicist is being willing to ask something and be said no to.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
All day long.
If you need exposure therapy for like rejection sensitivity, this is the line of work for you. But also, again, I mean, like going way back to customer service in coffee shops, like it's no big deal. Like it's just one little interaction of everybody's day. Everybody's got somewhere to be and something to do. You know, sometimes it can be disappointing, but also it's so not personal. And I think in this business, people are very inclined to take things personally in a way that is not helpful.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I write blurbs for people who ask if it's like an appropriate thing. And, you know, I do it because I've asked quite a few times myself. And, you know, and I think it's like works well as a symbiosis. I don't know that my blurb is worth a lot in a lot of cases, depending on the book. But yeah, I mean, it's like try to be a team player, try to be like part of something. And, you know, and if it's like something I genuinely like, obviously it's not a big ask.
But this is also my thing is like, it's so like, yeah, maybe sometimes it's about the name, but also I think it's more just about like descriptive power and persuasion, you know, like most of the people who like look at the back of a book in a bookstore, I mean, maybe they like see that their favorite author like recommends this book and they're like, okay, well, like that's interesting. But also maybe they just see somebody talk about it in a way that gives them a different perspective than the back of copy. And that can be persuasive, or at least like that's how I shop for books a lot of the time. It's like it's like staff picks only, and then like also yeah, I have a bugbear about like when there is no jacket copy. I'm like I do like I love
jacket copy
mystery, but like I want to know what it is. So
unless it's like a picture book and you can just like open it up and be like, oh, I see this is pictures of apples.
This mystery is a mystery. Thanks for joining us once again.
Please send your questions to podcast@microcosmpublishing.com so we can answer them on future episodes.
And please give us 5 stars on iTunes and everywhere else that podcasts are reviewed.
You can find us on the internet at microcosm.pub.
On Twitter at Microcosm.
On Facebook at Microcosm Publishing.
On Instagram at Microcosm_pub.
And here in Portland, Oregon on North Williams Avenue.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful week.